Welcome, welcome. Come on in, kick your shoes up. Make yourselves comfortable. I'm Quinn, I'll be your clown for tonight, and it's not short for Harlequin. Character stylization. That moment when you take a character and you give it your own spin to it. Every artist loves doing it. Actually, it's pretty hard to stylize a character. Especially if you're trying to keep the character's essence. And how far can you actually push it without somebody coming in and saying, "Hey, that's not my Blorbo"? There's also the added fact of, how far do you even want to push it? I know for me, I don't take my character designs very far. I've seen people take blobs of color and turn them into something that's straight out of the Renaissance. And I'm just sitting here like, here's my one-to-one. But today I went through the daunting task of going as far as I could and recording it for the entire world to see. The first step, identify your character. For my character of choice, I'm choosing this lime green blade of grass. Or Cookie. This is Wind Archer Cookie. And for you non-Cookie nerds, I'll be giving him a quick rundown in the insight corner. Wow, wasn't that a great transition? Anyway, I'm a totally different, totally handsome clown. I have a doctorate. Let's diagnose what makes Wind Archer Wind Archer. He's the elemental spirit of wind. He's basically a god. He's been tasked with purifying the lost and corrupted souls. He works under the Millennial Tree, basically the big boss of the guardian spirits. Wind Archer is a dedicated and stoic kind of character, unlike a lot of the usual wind-based characters where they're going with the flow, dancing along the breeze. Wind Archer's more like a birch tree. Yeah, he's bending with the breeze, and it looks like he's about to snap under the pressure, but he never does. Now let's take a look at what some of his defining features are. With him having several costumes and designs, I actually have an easier time picking out the several features I believe define him. Remember, I just want to clarify this, I am not a professional. I'm just doing this for fun and an experiment. Anyway, back on subject. In all forms except his base and special costume, he actually has wings, or some sort of feather motif, which does make sense if you think about it, because do you know what loves the wind? That's right, birds. Anyway, wings or bird features are a defining trait of his, along with that big old scarf. You see it in nearly every costume. It bumps his silhouette out and really makes his very twinkish body less twinkish. The last two would be his bow pointing to his job as an archer. Duh. And then the gem on his forehead. See, with the gem, it can actually show his health and well-being. Because with the corrupted costume, we can see the gem has taken on a sickly purple hue. So, we have his four defining features figured out. Scarf, wings, gem, and bow. Here's my first pass at trying to stylize him without any research. It was just me using my imagination, following my heart. Like adding too much vanilla to chocolate chip cookies. So, not bad, eh? It hits what I'm trying to go for. A long silhouette with several bird-like features, like the ears and the beak nose. But I was just throwing things at the wall. His prominent Adam's apple and baggy t-shirt actually reminds me a lot of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And I definitely don't want that. That's the entirely wrong vibe for the character. Wind Archer is supposed to be a long but sturdy character who doesn't balk in the face of fear. Shaggy, his entire thing is about being a coward and scared of ghosts. So how on earth do I fix that mess up? Research. Simple as that. I can look up male archer physiques and postures, maybe even throw in a bit of ballerina in there too. But I actually have a body reference in mind. Ta-da! It's David the Arrow Bard, or at Bloomin' Neck on TikTok. When I picture Wind Archer, he's the first thing that comes to mind. Though I have a specific person as referenced, I can always grab more. It doesn't hurt. I do some quick tests, even though I know I want him to be long and lean with some muscle up top. I still want to see what he'd look like more squat, or maybe with shorter legs, more fat on him. Well, whatever it is, it's good to test the water. Well, now I have the body, and I actually adore the ears for my first design, so I'm just gonna refine them a bit and stick them back on. No one will notice. But that brings us to outfits. See, looking at the original sprite, he's wearing a cozy piece of fabric layered over top itself with a V neckline, tied together with a band of leather twine, not to mention his pants are all ripped up above the knee. His original outfit actually gives me a whole Peter Pan look to it, which doesn't really fit. Besides the protector role, he isn't ferrying lost kids to the Millennial Forest, he actually spends a good chunk of time outside, traveling around. He's also a very responsible character too, and he's an adult. Which brings me to my favorite part of the design pipeline. Dress up. So with his shirt, I kept the whole layered fabric look, but added visible stitches along the edge, and for his belt, I added a nice buckle to break up the elastic band look. I turned his ripped shorts into culottes with a slit along the cuff. How scandalous! But usually this is where I would leave off. I've gone far enough to have added a personal flair to it that I'm happy with. He looks like the sprite, and it's simple enough I can draw it repeatedly without getting tired. Though this video is about pushing it as far as I can go, this simply isn't enough. In all sprites except his special and base, he actually had wings, so I have a choice. Do I give him wings? Do I not? That's where my research on the Rito from Breath of the Wild came in. See, I was thinking about wing arms because I had always loved the fact that the Rito used their talons to draw back the bowstring. And so I was thinking of giving him the ability to summon wing arms and end up looking like a bit of a harpy. Of course, he still had that natural wings on the back kind of deal, but he's a god. He can summon as many wings as he wants. And if I wanted him to be able to shoot his bow with his talons, I had to figure out what kind of bird I was using. In the original paper sketch, I had given him parrot feet, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. But as I began inking it on digital, I switched back over to the traditional 3 in the front, 1 in the back. They both had their benefits, but I was already thinking of giving him owl wings when I was hit with the Night Raven skin. He had already been given a bird, and it was a crovid. The difference between owls and crovids was that the owls had that puffy shape along the calf with the feathers I'd given him already, and crovids had naked legs, so I did a quick test and yeah, I like the fluffy legs better. Sometimes, even though something fits the character, you gotta do the rule of cool. So, I really wanted him to have markings on his face and tested out some great horned owl markings. It looks better than the original I did. As you can see, I did some quick gemstone tests. Not gonna leave his bow out of this. And once I was finally done with everything else, and felt happy about it, of course, we were back at the outfit, basically back at square one. After going through all my outfit references, I tossed some shit at the wall, made several variations, just playing with the silhouette, because he has a very simple outfit when you get down to the basics. But here it was, the final design. There's nothing stopping me from tooling with it further, but I'm actually pretty proud of how it turned out. I've gone further than I've ever gone before on a design, and I think it turned out great. So I've got to thank everyone for watching. Do the basic stuff like subscribe, like the video. Oh yeah, if I reach like 100, I'll do Shadow Milk next. That blue jester's had it too nice for too long. Anyway, have a great and lovely day. But first, my lovely patrons. I want to thank Ace, Almira, April, Cat in a Teacup, Elijah, Lyra, Poppy, Riverwater. Round of applause to them. Now get out.